Chapter 3, Staying with the Library Operations. In general, with the addition of the Army to Lab Program, when the chain of the library will follow the industry military chain with the proper dimension of the library with a rescore call with the effect of the library. Ship may include with the chain of the ALA, Special Library Association, Medical Library Association with College Research Library, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, with the staff of the Institute, with the Academic Accreditation, chain with the Trade Act, with the Quality Assurance, with the chain with the Army Council, with the Education Military Program, the Department of Defense, Moral Welfare, Recreation Library Standards, Army Moral Welfare Recreation Library Baseline, chain with the command, with the librarian, with the determine the chain with the file for the librarian's command library program, name of the case with a single line, with a direct reporting unit of the agency with the library manager with the determine the chain with the file for the librarian army with the computer divide with the need with the 32 with the technology. Libraries will be equipped with the density with the hardware, software, reissue with the military with the network, after the technical support with the library full of playing for the incorporate with the advanced technology able to become available to meet the change with the expectation need with the librarians and curve with the use commercial internet Wi-Fi to support with the customer, the driven the permission with the requirement to accept with accessibility prohibited the librarians may use the social media to promote service and engage with the community with the Army Regulation 361 fund coordination approved with the local public affair for the office of the Corns for the AR 735 713 libraries must access with the library management system with the commonly known with the integrated with the librarian system library service policy platform minimum library system will be used with the managed inventory catalog material with the managed with the circulation material with the maintain with the statistic with the enterprise library system and the current librarians will not use the enterprise the domestic, the desktop application could with a spreadsheet with the basic with the database management system managed library operation commands may require with the local activities and join with the enterprise library system may use with the other libraries in command. Classified materials cannot be managed and with the unclassified system may require with the alternate management methods. In accordance with the AR 25-1, as required, librarians have to provide with the computer with the virtual equivalent of the opposite of the application software library page for the maximum of the computer support with the page for the need with the computer with the designated with the library page for the must provide with the access to the online library catalog with the electronic library resource for the library will ensure that the network enterprise sign with achieve the information often with the information technology support for the provided include with the library technology requirement the overall information management and plans include with the risk management framework information technology others which include the library the lifecycle hardware replacement schedule of the library website social media site digital library online category will publicly accessible except where prohibited. Licensed electronic library resource with the accessible remotely authorized library patron with acceptable where permitted to virtual private network library proxy with the other means including the AR 25-1 3.3 program planning library management role playing with the library with the support of the organizational mission for the next 3 to 5 years with the strategic plan with the roadmap of the library program planning execution strategic planning should be based for the result of the community need with assessment analysis with the statistic of the application industry trends organizational need with the plan should prescribe with the program enhancement meet emerging customer the need with the air with the staff with the facility upgrade technological innovation, community outreach, and the development of funding sources for the library for the command-wide for the library program. We'll submit the strategic plan with a supporting program offer after each update. Librarians will conduct with the community need with assessment and identify with the new library service requirement at least every 5 years with the result of the use to inform the strategic planning profit needs of the assessment when it be conducted at a local level or a program off of the command headquarters level. The libraries encouraged to develop the outreach and marketing plan with the update at least every 3 years. 3-4 funding and acquisition. Funding responsible to the library to with the own activity, however, the economy that you have with the sum of the service at the enterprise level, the subscription may be defined with the command support with the library program and other sources. Most libraries are funded with appropriate funds through with the parent organization appropriated fund with the general library with the obligated with the uniform funding with the management process with the equivalent with the non-appropriated fund with the perceived the library required with the systematic plan funding to the meeting with the specified service the objectives of each with the library through annual budgeting program objective with the meeting memorandum process with the librarian with the prepare estimate with the base of the short range with the need with the long range goals. Library budget should reflect with a minimum of the annual increase of 5% with the keep at the pace of the risk cost of the material subscription services with the librarian should submit prepared to execute the unfunded requirement annual primary for the on-time library. Libraries may be with the Fed Link program of the library competence for the acquisition of the library materials with the section 101 3 Public Law 106 481 established Fed Link with the revolving fund to support with the federal agency for the office of work conducted for the interagency agreement of Fed Link member organization library congress filed with the federal acquisition regulation Fed Link for the contract of vehicle with the normally identified with the delivery identified with the quantities contract with the because Fed Link has revolved with the fund authority Fed Link member the libraries can advance with the funds in place the product and ship with the library ship with the leverage publisher with the vendor discount with the schedule with the enterprise local license and central publishing group conform with the command with a wide purchase with advantages to the Army. Subscription periodicals, new paper, the other publication known with the advance of the requirement exists to be with the multiple year with the rather than single year with the where with the method advantage of the purpose of the economy of the otherwise various, often within the same agencies describing the same publication. Consideration should give it in solid with the requirement of agency-wide base for the multi-year base for the payment covering issue if delivered during the entire prescription period of may meet advantage for the current available occupations. 3-5 staffing. Library and the library program will be staffed with the TA civilians, general schedule for the 1410 series, library technician 1411 series, with additional staff with the civilian personnel with the mission required identical, including technical information specialist for the archivist for the archive, with the technician for the library, with the professional staff, super lab with the performance of the work required with the full professional knowledge and theory with the principal of leaders, librarianship with the typical function of the requirement of the librarian direction, include with the management, supervision, collection, development, acquisition, metadata, the creation, and the cataloging reference of the research over the patron, instruct with the manager, electronic research with the librarian system, managed with the digitalization, preservation with the web development, the library personnel will meet with the office of the personal management, classification, qualifications, with the library programs will manage with the librarian, not a librarian technician, personal and other jobs with exemption, Title 10, faculty, librarian, technical information specialist, branch libraries may be staffed with the librarians, library technicians, or the technical information specialist taking the direction of the library director, manager of the main library. Libraries have no fewer than one full-time librarian technical information specialist. Grade level standards below are recommended upon vacancy with a new position established with a date of the regulation career ladder position encouraged at all levels. No library staff will grade less than the G7 and 5 of the NFO2 with equivalent supervised librarian who have the targeted grade with a full performance level of GS11 to 14, NF4, NF5, equivalent depending on the scope of the complexity of the position. Non-supervised librarian with exemption with command librarian have the target with a grade with the GS9, G13, NF4 with equivalent demand, equivalent depending on the scope and complexity of the position. Command librarians ACOM with a direct reporting unit headquarters for the multiple libraries have the purview of the GS 1410 14 library for the Army, GS 1410 15 technical information special for the Army library program target grade full performance level GS 9 through GS 13 NF3 NF4 equivalent solo libraries made with the operative with a single professional lab and a technical information specialist for the range GS 13 to 13 12 to 13 NF4 equivalent contractor managed librarians execute with the lead supervisor library technician GS7 to GN9, and for the equivalent library technicians for the supervisor lead responsible for the GS5 of the GS7 and NF2 of the equivalent. All librarians must meet with the requirement of professional education, library science for the equivalent experience with the education shown with the G7 and how with the standard practice for the applicant for the enter for the grade with the GS9 with the base of the master's degree. Library assigned with a master's degree with a program accredited with the American Library Association with a master level of the program of the library with the information study with the credit of recognition with appropriate national body in another country is with the industry standard with a professional degree with a librarian with a maintain high standard with a professional library for the Army. The library program strongly recommends the librarian and all personnel to have jobs here with other than 1410 with include with the Title 10 faculty, technical information specialist, serve with the manager with the charge of the library information center with the possess with the master of the library information science with a similar master degree with the library information studies. Library staff over the contract with the other part of the Army Library program. Most of the functional Army Library program primary amateur contractors serve the library in charge will have the master of the library information serve with a similar master degree with the library with the information stuff with the Army Library Association accredited program with a description of with the quality assurance surveillance plan with each of the library contract that must be provided with the librarian of the Army and appropriate command the librarian with the review and approval of the quality assurance with the evaluated contract with the officer of the technical representative that must coordinate with the command with the librarian and the Army to determine the scope of the meaning for the contract's name of the clone for the Army Regulation 735-17. Accountability offered to library materials cannot be contractors. Library may be volunteer limited base for the assist with the augmented regularly funded for the workforce without the will may not be with a totally permanently substitute with a unified position with the replay for the paid employees. Volunteer with the not perform the duty with the other circumventing with the shovel of service system and the funding with the head provided with the higher staff with the obtained serve with the contract with the manager volunteer with the credit aids of additional workload with the library staff with the supply of the library should be staffed with 80% of the more of the required manning for enlisting volunteers. Volunteers independently performing the core library function of all volunteers must occur under supervision guidance with the staff member. Volunteers not have access to staff manager with the DoD Army Library System application. Volunteers may use special programs such as children books, book clubs, or other library events. Volunteers may assist with the shelving, processing material, with creating displays as they as long as these tasks are not assigned to the volunteer at a regular duty. As regular duty volunteers must register through the Installation Volunteer Coordinating Army Volunteer Corps, include a basic background check. All volunteers who work with around children and youth are required to have an additional background checks according with the DOD and Instruction 14025. Library staff entitled by contracts will not have volunteers. 3-6 Professional Development and Army Training Career Development, the IDS 1410, 1411, and 1412 with the share of the personal Army-wide aligned with the education information, civil the career field of the Army, civilian career management activity, librarian over the Army, civil the career field of the command of the representative of the library personnel with the education information sign with the career field of the DA level, funding with the career field of the be available to supplement with the training couple of the library personnel with the committee with the director of the Army Garrison Installation School with the activity research center with the field operating agency with the must budget annually from library personnel with the committee with the or agency in accordance with the Army Regulations 601, 690, 950. The library personnel will encourage you to have to maintain an individual plan with the update with the least annual with the individual plan with the review with the supervisor approved by the supervisor employed with the concurrent with the L training and subject with the budgetary restriction. Supervisor individual development plan approved with the not a guarantee for the training with the minimum training requirement of the librarians include with attending with the professional seminar conveying venture and sign opposite for the conference workshop with the trade association and the training with the Army library training with the agency with the military training library with the training workshop over the other Army library program sponsored multi-day virtual or in-person events that will meet with the requirement with the conference or workshop attended with the not authorized library personnel will complete with a minimum of 20 hours of the library with the information surrounds industry training annually in-person or virtual all training associated costs are identified with the personal will include with each of the individual development plan. Army library training institute with the essential training event with the library personnel will support with the professional development of the growth of the library personnel will appropriately relate with the official do with the same with the demonstrate with the Army, the library, and show the 10 with the Army, the library, trying it into when inferred. Alright, 3-7, the collection. Library develop and maintains the system of the collection with a variety of the format to keep with the case of the community with the need with the mission requirement of the scope of the library collection with determined by the assessing of the quality currents with the material of the community need of finding in a physical space. Librarians must have the written collection development policy. The library will comply with the command with the collection development policy, the chain collection, the development policy, the established over the library with the command library for the value of the collection with the regulated with the draw with the obsolete with the war materials according to the Army Regulation 735-17. Library collections may consist of the physical material with the digital collection license with commercial with the database with the combination of the three having the library with the folk with the heavily providing access with electronic research with the ability with the acquire physical material with the do with the physical mission requirements unavailability over the books of the materials electronic format the license restrictions cost of the conservation libraries maintain physical collections prior to access to online information for the timely availability with the current the retrospect with the material format as the need of the community share with the collection be the kept current with the regular acquisition appropriate materials and with the use of electronic research with include with the downloadable material with the stream with the variable the viable to supplement with the print collections. General libraries will include the material support with the mission requirement with the provided military with the voluntary education program, life learning with the well-being with the military community, academic library community with the determine the circle with the accreditation same with the local mission requirement, the special library, provide current in-depth material with the direct support with the parents organization mission library to hear with the Army Library Association Library Bill of the rights ensure the selection process with the free from censorship. The libraries will also apply principles of intellectual freedom in the Army the library should have been implemented the interpretation of the library of the Bill of Rights. Libraries will address the complaint with regarding the library materials itself with the command with the guidance library materials channel with the libraries may obtain legal review with the proposed action with the violate with the library's bill with the rights the library manager the manager control with the certificate legal urge by the taking action of the review of the chain of the library material with the label advisor shall assess with the challenge of the first amendment with the DODDA policy applicable to the case law with additional guidance available to the Army the legal Army Library Association offered the intellectual freedom give the donations given in accordance with the Army Regulation 735-17 AR 1100. Alright, 3-8, accounting library material with accounting library material with the bone and with the Army Regulation 735-17 include with the policy with the receipt of the cataloging material with the library property account with accountability office with the accepting domination with the voluntary control restitution of the loss of the damaged property to the disposition library material with the Army Regulation 735-17 accountable office of the library property required with the must be with the appointment rating 30 days with the departure outgoing with the accountable office of the library patron for the most registered with the account to with the borrow with the physical material with the all registered library patron for the response for the replacement reimbursement loss of the damaged material with the accordance with the Army Regulation 735-17 registered information entered the library management system and apply with the patron agreement with the library circulation policy the response for the outline Army Regulation 735-17 duration library account. Look off with the personal with the process of the incoming and outgoing with the personal with the note with the library woman the personal include with the serviceman with the civilian employee with the in and out product of the organization according with the annual review regulation 737 with the library patron with the must reconcile with the account with the departing organization. 3-9 classified material with the classified control with the unified class information material with the library with the safeguard and with the Army regulation 385 library personal with control of the local security office the installation assigned with the parent organization proper handling storage materials. 310 facilities made with the design library with the contributed with notified with the conform with the appropriate DOD with the guide with its provide with the functionality of the material of the equipment located with the high traffic area with the functionality interior with the reflect with the contemporary design trends with the space with the plan with the separate distinct with the function for the provide service rate for the patrons works rate for the library staff with the guide with the design with the removing and renovating libraries UFC 474020 UFC 310101 FC 476010N library information for the design plan for the analyzed peer and solution internal and external with the DOD command agency with the library staff with control of the design process and as individual library mission required with the libraries may provide with the space for the community events and class with the meeting of the individual with the group of the study with the family oriented programs. Library facility will not be given the workspace with the non-library personnel with the work area storage space with the function with the non-specified with the library with the consumption competent with the rooms which will be used with the non-library meetings all others subject with the command approval of the Army and the library program review. Environmental stand with the providing heating, ventilation, air conditioning system and complying with the UFC with the NFC with the goal with the following stand with the review for the drastic fluctuation relative to the humidity temperature which contain the library books or materials. Special seasonal fluctuations normal distributed study with the trends with the help library coordinate with the Department of Public Works for the game with the control of the building environment that came near with the scene with the possible to be a very facility should close with the temperature relative to the humidity of recommended ranges can be maintained at 24 hours a day for 365 days with the climate control should never be turned off the setting should not be lowered at night and or weekends and at other time with the library is closed with the environmental scene with the library material to maintain per the following resolve the humidity recommended standards setting with a 50% of the seasonal fluctuation plus or minus 5% of the setting with the compromise with the need with the variation collection material with the dehumidification system and encourage for the region's highest seasonal humidity temperature within unless specifically designed for the colder storage condition with the library as for the areas contained with the collection maintained at 68 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit fluctuations will not vary more than plus or minus 2 degrees libraries except from 78 degrees Fahrenheit requirement of the Army installation during the cooling season. Special collection libraries separate space for the archive of the special collections may have a specific storage need for the various formats including historic documents, photograph films, maps, and rare books. So for the NRA Directive 1571 stand with the Success Society with the American Archivists for the appropriate temperature of the humidity standards. Alright, preparedness, disaster recovery, subject matter expert of the library, archive of the museum, with the community should be considered the discovery, disaster recovery after the flooding, with the fire, with the mold outbreaks, of the disaster, with the impact of the library facility, with the collection, U.S. Army Heritage, with the education center, made with the content, with the resource, with the expertise, with the preservation and conservation archive of the library material. 311, equipment, furniture, and supplies, specialized with equipment, supplied with the required, with the efficient library, with the main, for the resource sharing, with the preserve, with the use of the library, in addition with the office, with the furniture, equipment, they may include with the personal computer scheme, with the microform equipment and copy with the audio-visual equipment, material with the dimensional with the print with the other equipment, and required with the mission furniture with the equipment is with the compatible with the existing time and facility with the conform with the appropriate technical stand with the specification should with the interoperability. 312 with the interoperability loan. Libraries provide with the interoperability loan with the document delivered serve with the borrower with the lend material with the government and non-government library support with the mission library with the lend material with the government and non-government libraries when requesting Army Library instruction interlibrary loan code of the United States. The library will have the written interlibrary loan policy available to the library patrons cooperation solution institution and their library policy that may be established at local level. The program off of the command headquarters level. Libraries may enter with agreement the local, regional, national, and international network along with the interlibrary loaning among the participant libraries reserve the right to terminate interlibrary loan agreements with any of the institutions which use the violation and establish interlibrary loan practice and policy. The library will transfer electronic documents according to the term of the formal agreement between the Army agency information provided with the interlibrary loan transaction according to the copyright law of the libraries must be commercial. The interlibrary loan document delivery service 313, media data cataloging. Material of the week, proper catalog, with the cataloging classification, name of the rule, of the appropriate type of the library, with the specific collection material, with the name of the organization may have with the traditional library material such as books, technical reports, microfilm, with the audiovisual manuscript, with the base with the Anglo-American, with the cataloging rule, with the official, with the replacement of the brief, with the description, and the active, with the machine readable cataloging, stand with the classification, with the subject heading, with the scheme of the Dewey Decimal classification, receiver subject heading, with the library Congress classification, subject heading, with the government publishing off the classification manual, with the practical guide, with the superintendent, with the document classification system, for technical scientific reports, with the document, with the control of the national technical information, for the defense, with the technical information, stand with the subject category, with the U of the agency, library will accommodate with the organization material, with the digital collection, incorporate them into the local, the national online category, with the taxonomy, metadata, with the script, over the cataloging, with the digital information core, with the double and core, with the metadata, with the element set, with the appropriate, with the metadata, same with the libraries must access with the online biographical cataloging, so with the include with the OCLC, with the service, with the result of the creation metadata, with the cataloging record. Preservation historical material of the protecting with the Army Regulation 735-17, 8705, and 87020. Libraries have the responsibility to preserve the foreign forest practice with the material within collection library shelf to have the general knowledge of the document preservation book repair with the digital archive with the other special techniques. Individual library mission with the staff with the made need with the special with the skill with the preservation measure. Will be undertaken with the house with the contractors with the consortium with the agreement and with the digital reach of the lawsuit with a variously intact with the mission library with the coordinator with the chief of the information officer of the organization to develop technical solution, U.S. Army Heritage or Educational Center with the concept with the resource with the expertise with the preservation, conservation, archive of the library materials. Chapter 4, Army Library Steering Committee.